We're here today talking with Scott Halladay about his wife Janice's book, Death Treasures, and I'm talking a little bit about how he published this book in her honor. So, Scott, thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me, Scott. I really appreciate everything that y'all have done for us with getting this thing moving forward.
Tell us a little bit about the book and how you kind of, as we were talking earlier, picked up the torch and continued to carry that for your wife, Janice.
Well, the book was based off of a friend of mine and myself. We used to go rock hunting together, and then we started going treasure hunting down to New Mexico. We'd go every Thanksgiving. And he had noticed some people on Thanksgiving Day down in New Mexico, very desolate area, and they came up and uh, basically were away all day. They had a little flatbed pickup truck and drove up there out of his view, and there was nothing on the flatbed. When they came back down later on that evening, there was a little tarp spread out real nicely covering something. So that was kind of the basis for us going down there every Thanksgiving, was to try to see those people again and find out what they were after, what they were getting, and it turned into an annual affair. Like I said, every Thanksgiving, we never saw the people again. Um, but Janice and Jimmy's wife at the time would always help us prepare for going down there. I think they enjoyed it, us going down there as much as we did. But so she brought the whole treasure hunting aspect of it closer to home into the Pike National Forest here in Colorado. And she was into the Bigfoot uh, shows and whatnot. And so she put that in there along with the wormholes. So you time dimension travel and whatnot, going into different dimensions. And she compiled this book, and she had been working on it for 4 years, and would have me read it, certain sections to see if everything sounded good to me. And it was like, well, I've never done a book before. You know as much as I do. And she kept going with it, and it was just every time I read it, it it excited me, it intrigued me. So again, she put in uh, her part of it, her thoughts, her feelings, brought it closer to home, so that in one section of the book, these creatures follow us out of the time dimension. And there's been talk that Sasquatch and Bigfoot and whatnot can actually do the time dimension travel. So she put that into uh, portion of the book. And again, they followed us home. The horses got a little rambunctious on a couple of occasions. But for her to do that was just unbelievable. Her imagination just went way, way wild. And again, every time I read it or listen to the audiobook, when we were working on the publishing aspect of both, it excited me. It intrigued me. I've given away a bunch of copies of the book, and people are excited about it. I had one of my cousins down in Texas says, "Yeah, the couch is against the wall, but I'm still looking over my shoulder as I'm reading the book." You know, uh, Kind of getting the feeling that something is watching her or whatever. So everybody has enjoyed the book very much. Um, going into why I grabbed the bull by the horns and wanted to finish this is she was my angel. Um, she she was always there for me. I was always there for her. I could not ask for a more wonderful person to spend my life with. We were together, like I said, 30 years. And in 30 years, we never had a knockdown, drag out argument. We just didn't sweat the small stuff. She was my soulmate. Both of us had dreams of being back in the Western days, the settler days out here in Colorado. And our dreams kind of crossed paths, you know. So I think there's something to it. So it was my duty to get this out there, to finish it off for her. And I will continue to do it. I will continue to market it, whatever I need to do to make it work. The folks that published the book, Fulton Books, they were just wonderful people. As with the audio book, you guys have been fantastic. Um, and you've made this process very simple for me. So I've learned a lot in the process, and somewhere on her computer is she had started a second part to this book. Hopefully I can get into her computer. It won't let me in right now, so I've got to take it to the shop and have them try to get me access. But but I want to do that. I want to do it for her. I want to do it for our family, and I want to do it for myself again. You know, to complete something in her honor is just would be fantastic. You
That
know.
was going to be my question, is how far into the process, but it sounds like she had this first book written and had already started a sequel. And so did you have to do much to get this first book to published, or was she kind of there and you just picked it up and got it and finished out all the details?
Well, it had been, she had written all of the book to the end. The only thing that I did was I worked with the editor,
Mm-hmm.
um, and the publisher in order to make it happen. On the cover of the book, um, is my friend and I, and that was a God meeting there. He was coming up. He had moved to New Mexico. He was going to be in the area. And he called me up and he goes, "Hey, Scott, let's go out to lunch." And I said, "Well, I can't leave Janice here alone." At that time, I was giving her 24-hour care.
Mm-hmm.
Medications, and just making sure that she was okay. And my daughter called me and said, "Hey, can I come up and see mom tomorrow?" And I said, "That would be fantastic, because Jimmy wants to go out to lunch, and then we can come back to the house and you can take the picture at the rock. This rock has very important significance to it. We got married there on horseback and dismounted the horses and married at the rock. There's a lot of our family that whose ashes are spread up there at the rock. And so we had lunch and got the picture taken, and then I worked with the publisher to do the photoshopping on the cover of it, where it looked like the wormhole was opening. And then the folks have to read the book to find out how all of that stuff worked out for us. But again, it was a God thing that everything fell together so well. And the publisher also let me put a little tribute to her in the book. So basically, she had done the hard stuff. I just had to exercise my patience and get the rest of the stuff done. She passed away before it went to print, and that was tough because it she always wanted to finish the book. We just had a wind event come through here, so we finished it for her. And like I said, I would do it again. I hope that I can do this second book. I know it's just like any other sequel. It's certainly not going to be anywhere as good as what she had put together. But fantastic lady, fantastic book. You know, I encourage everybody that sees this to go out and get the books, spread the word, whether it be the audio book, the paperback, and hopefully we can make this successful for her.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you joining us, and you can see the copy of the book. It's called Death Treasures, as Scott's been talking. It's behind him, and he's got a picture of his wife, Janice, as well. They all tried to fall down on him there for a second, but he caught them and reset. But that book is available online through Amazon, through Barnes & Noble, through iTunes, and most recently, you heard him talking about, through Audible and the Audiobook Network. So encourage you to grab a copy of that book and maybe even look for the sequel, as he talked about, if he's able to continue on. Scott, thank you so much.
Thank you, Scott. And again, extend my thanks to everybody at Audiobook. You guys have been wonderful. I want to see this book be a success for her.
Well, thank you. Such a legacy to leave and to carry on for her. Thanks for joining us today.